The world awoke to shocking news. A Russian drone factory in Yelabuga, deep in Tatarstan, was reduced to rubble overnight. Satellite images revealed a collapsed roof and scorched earth. Moscow called it an industrial accident, but the truth was far more dramatic. This was a calculated Ukrainian strike, delivered by a single aging fighter jet. The target was over 1,000 kilometers from Ukrainian territory, a facility producing the Shahed drones that had terrorized Ukrainian cities. Destroying it was a strategic necessity, but the odds seemed impossible. The factory was shielded by layers of Russian air defenses, thought to be unreachable by Ukrainian weapons. The world asked, how did Ukraine pull this off? The answer wasn't a secret Western superweapon, but a blend of old Soviet steel, new technology, and sheer ingenuity. At the heart of the story was a pilot known only as Falcon, and a team of engineers who transformed a Soviet-era MiG-29 into something new. They fused American precision bombs with Ukrainian software, creating a weapon for one impossible mission. This act of defiance changed the war's narrative. It proved Ukraine could innovate, not just defend. The burning factory became a symbol of Ukrainian resilience and ingenuity. It showed that determination and creativity could overcome even the most daunting odds. The world was about to learn how a relic of the Cold War became a modern-day dragon slayer. This is the story of the Yelabuga raid. The hero wasn't a stealth fighter, but a MiG-29, an old Soviet workhorse, outmatched on paper by modern Russian jets. Sending it deep into Russia seemed suicidal. Its radar was outdated, its fuel limited, and it was a big, easy target for Russian air defenses. But in a hidden Ukrainian hangar, engineers saw potential where others saw scrap. They called it the Frankenfighter. They stripped the MiG, rewired its systems, and made it compatible with American JDAM smart bombs. The challenge, making 1980s avionics talk to 21st century weapons. A Kyiv software team built a digital translator, letting the pilot program the bombs from the old cockpit. They added a secure navigation system, blending satellite data and terrain-following radar to sneak under Russian coverage. The result? A hybrid jet, able to fly low and fast and strike with precision from afar. The Frankenfighter was born of necessity and innovation. It turned Ukraine's supposed weakness into a unique advantage. The stage was set for a mission no one thought possible. Operation Nightingale was born from desperation and brilliance. Ukrainian intelligence confirmed the Yelabuga factory's importance. Every day it operated, more drones struck Ukrainian cities. Missiles couldn't reach it, and drones would be shot down. The only option, a modified MiG-29, flown by a single pilot. A small team of analysts, engineers, pilots, and meteorologists worked in secrecy, mapping a route that hugged river valleys and forests to avoid Russian radar. Intelligence officers tracked Russian air defense activity, while engineers fine-tuned the jet's new systems. Meteorologists waited for perfect weather, cloud cover, and calm winds. Falcon, the pilot, practiced the route for hours in a simulator. The risk was enormous. If detected, there'd be no rescue. But the reward, crippling Russia's drone production, was worth it. After weeks of preparation, the team was ready. The weather window opened. The plan was set. The sword was forged. It was time to strike. On a moonless night, the Frankenfighter roared to life. Falcon, calm but focused, launched into the darkness, skimming just above the treetops. Over friendly territory, tension built. Crossing into Russia, the real test began. Every radar blip and radio crackle could mean discovery. Guided by new navigation software, Falcon weaved through valleys, a digital ghost beneath Russian radar. He flew radio silent, utterly alone. Russian search radars swept the sky, but Falcon stayed invisible, trusting his team's planning and his own skill. The flight demanded total concentration. One mistake could be fatal. The jet's upgrades and Falcon's training kept him on course. He thought of the cities hit by Russian drones and the families affected. This was more than a mission. It was personal. He was the tip of Ukraine's spear, flying through the dragon's teeth. The target was now less than an hour away. Every second, the danger grew. But Falcon pressed on, determined to finish what his team had started. The fate of the mission and a message to the world rested on his shoulders. The moment of truth was near. As Falcon neared Yelabuga, the city's glow appeared on the horizon. The plan: don't fly over the factory, but use a toss bombing maneuver to release J-dams from a distance. Falcon pulled the MiG into a steep climb, briefly exposing himself to radar. At the apex, he released 2 J-dams which deployed their wings and glided silently toward the target. Instantly, Falcon dove back to low altitude, racing away. Behind him, a brilliant flash lit the sky, then a second, larger explosion. The first bomb punched through the assembly hall. The second ignited chemicals and munitions. The factory erupted in a fireball, secondary explosions tearing through the complex. In seconds, Russia's key drone site was a blazing inferno. The weapons that had terrorized Ukraine were destroyed at their source. Falcon didn't look back. His job was to escape. The mission's success now depended on his survival. The world would soon see the results. But for Falcon, the fight was far from over. The explosions signaled Falcon to run. Now the most wanted man in Russian airspace, he pushed the MiG to its limits. His escape route was direct but dangerous. Russian fighters and missile batteries were on high alert. His threat receiver blared, "Missile lock." Falcon unleashed chaff and flares, dove behind hills and broke the lock. More threats followed. He dodged, weaved, and used every trick to stay alive. Russian interceptors searched the skies, their radio chatter frantic. Falcon was a lone fox, hunted by a pack. The Frankenfighter's upgrades and Falcon's skill kept him ahead. Finally, the Ukrainian border appeared. He crossed into friendly airspace, fuel nearly gone. Russian voices faded behind him. He had done the impossible, struck deep in Russia, and escaped. At his home base, the ground crew greeted him with awe. Operation Nightingale was complete. Falcon had delivered Ukraine's message. The world awoke to images of the destroyed Yelabuga factory. Russia's main drone production line was gone, a strategic disaster for Moscow. The flow of deadly drones to the front lines was halted. For Ukraine, it was a massive morale boost. The story of the Frankenfighter and its lone pilot became legend. Falcon, his identity secret, was celebrated as a hero. Western analysts were stunned. A 40-year-old jet had penetrated Russia's defenses. The raid became a case study in asymmetric warfare and innovation. The Kremlin was furious and humiliated. Their billion-dollar air defense had failed. A single Ukrainian jet had exposed a critical vulnerability. The psychological impact was as great as the physical destruction. The raid forced a rethinking of what was possible in modern war. Ukraine had changed the rules. The Yelabuga raid is ultimately a story about people, not just machines. Ukrainian engineers refused to see the MiG-29 as obsolete. They saw a canvas for innovation. Their creativity and teamwork turned old hardware into a modern weapon. Falcon's skill and courage were the mission's linchpin. Every specialist, from intelligence to mechanics, played a vital role. This collaborative spirit defines Ukraine's war effort. Technology is only as powerful as the people who wield it. The mission proved that determination and ingenuity can outmatch brute force. Operation Nightingale was a victory of spirit over steel. It's a reminder: in war, the human element remains supreme. The ruins of Yelabuga mark more than a military victory. They signal a shift in modern warfare. For decades, power was measured by advanced machines. Operation Nightingale proved ingenuity and spirit can be decisive. The Frankenfighter showed how old platforms, upgraded with clever software, can level the playing field. Ukraine's approach prioritized innovation over expensive new hardware. This model empowers smaller nations to defend themselves creatively. The mission is a testament to freedom and determination. Ukrainians fight not for superior weapons, but for their right to exist. That belief fuels their courage and creativity. The desire for freedom inspires acts of bravery that change history. The Yelabuga raid's legacy is hope, not destruction. It declares that people, not machines, are the ultimate weapon. The human spirit, united in purpose, can overcome any threat.